Hey everybody, it's Glenn back in this video as my reviews of the Amazon exclusive Marvel Legends Infinite Series Avengers Age of Ultron box set conclude with Hawkeye. Now this is mostly the same as the 6-inch Hawkeye that accompanied the first Avengers movie as a Walmart exclusive. The most key difference being that this new box set one is recipient of a brand new head sculpt which is without the sculpted on shades that the Walmart Hawkeye had. The newer one is also without the shoulder strap harness you see there on the Walmart one on the right of the screen, and then any other differences you may notice are purely down to the difference in the variation of plastic and paint used for each. Yet none of these changes do anything to alter the problems I have with this, and that's to do with its proportions. I just feel the torso is very extended, the legs quite short, the arms long, leaving the hands hanging quite low in a King Louis from Jungle Book fashion. Unless of course Jeremy Renner is actually oddly proportioned and I'm criticizing Hasbro needlessly. Taking a closer look and being more positive, and I like the contrast between the shininess of say his boots, the knee pads and the straps, and the flat mattness of his trousers. Plus some really detailed sculpting in relief to the top, capturing the surface of the various textures of his tunic. Now we all know that Hasbro like to save a fraction of a cent when they can, and I did get suspicious that they didn't continue that burgundy colour on the front of the tunic onto the reverse, but having researched online, and it seems it is a flat grey colour, the back of his costume there. As for the head sculpt, I really like the hair. They've sculpted some really nice texture to it. It would benefit from a wash or some dry brushing to make it more tonal, but that goes back to Hasbro trying to save a fraction of a cent where they can. But I do think Hasbro were right to splash out on a new head sculpt without the shades. And I say that just because he racks up more screen time without the shades than he does wearing them. Would be nice if they included that Walmart head as an interchangeable head here though. As for the likeness, I think it's serviceable. I mean, in the big scheme of things, compared to the Age of Ultron cap, I see more Jeremy Renner in this likeness than I do Chris Evans in that one, that's for sure. For accessories, of course, he comes with his bow and a quiver full of arrows, because without those, the guy is just a guy. I do like that with the quiver they've at least made a token effort with the deco, applying some of that burgundy colour to match the costume. Of course, with Marvel Legends, this is certainly not the debut of this bow and quiver. Frankly, they're disappointing accessories with the arrows stuck in that quiver, and you have to go back to the Toy Biz days. There's some real decent Hawkeye accessories when we got individual arrows and a bow that actually fired them. But back to talking about what we actually do have, and the quiver plugs into his back. As for the bow, well, we're going to take a look at articulation to see if we can get him into any decent archery poses. So his head does rotate side to side, but there's no neck hinge, so no up or down movement of the head. Then at the shoulder, the arm rotates and it moves up to almost a right angle to the body. There's upper arm rotation, followed by a double jointed elbow. Then the hands rotate at the wrist, and his left hand is hinged on the inside and outside, whereas his right hand is hinged on the bottom and top. In lieu of waist rotation, he has a rotating diaphragm joint which also pivots side to side, and this is able to move, well, a little bit forward and only really the tiniest bit back. At the hips, his legs move out to the side a real decent amount. They also move forward, and then, well, they move the tiniest bit back. There's upper leg rotation and a double jointed knee, and then at the ankles, the feet are hinged, moving backwards and forwards, plus they have that crazy ankle rocker pivot that I love. So with all that covered and back to an archery pose, and I just can't strike it. I think poised to fire, he looks less like an expert marksman and more like he's just picked up a bow for the first time. And better looking in a vanilla pose, but for posers bigger than I see that they like to pose him reaching back with his left hand for an arrow from the quiver. So that's all 4 reviews from this set, done and dusted, seen here with some of their Avenger cohorts that were individually released. And in my opinion, this box set is a tale of 2 halves, with the first half consisting of the Prince of Asgard living up to his majesty, And while much more humble and quiet looking, I'd pair Bruce Banner with him as the two that most collectors will be most eager to get their hands on. And that's not to say Hawkeye is completely terrible, because he isn't, but I'd lump him in the half with Black Widow, in that the mostly reused been there and done that of them makes them a lot less exciting. Anyway, click a video if you missed any of my previous reviews from this set, and as ever, I sure hope to see you next time. Bye.